Moving on to the big one. It is the Well Child-sponsored Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's a big one, and it's a belter. And at the moment, the defending champion, bidding to emulate Arkle and Best Mate, is Album Photo at 11-4. It is 5-1 Best Price Champ, Best Price 6-1 A Plus Tard, 14-1 Santini, 14-1 Manila Indo, 14-1 Kemboy, 14-1 Froden, 14-1 Royal Pagaille, 16-1 Native River, and 33-1 Bar. Right, David Mullins, the Gold Cup Album Photo doesn't get the credit he deserves. Will he be a 3-time winner of the Gold Cup? Will he be regarded as Arkle and Best Mate and all these brilliant horses? And does he deserve to be talked about in the same sentences as those?
He should be. I don't know why he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's because he's not flashy or something. I don't know. I don't know. He's a funny horse. I remember riding him as a novice. He was absolutely rotten to jump. I got a fall off him in Limerick. Stephen's Day going to win a Grade 2, and then Paul rode him in the Gold Cup. He ran out the last, and then he rode him in the Gold Cup the next year, and he just got better and better. And it looks like he's still improving nearly. And maybe that's the way Willie's nurtured him, only giving him the one run before the Gold Cup the last 2 years. I think that's really standing to him, and you have to nurture talent. I think that's something that Jim Bulger said, and maybe Willie Mullins has taken that into account with the likes of Quevega, and they can keep producing it year in, year out. You can be sure he'll be in top form coming there. He'll be fit as a flea. But the one I'm worried about for him is a Plus Tard. When I look back at the Savills chase in Leopardstown, I was kicking myself, and I was giving out about Paddy taking me on halfway down the back on Mellon. I'm starting to come around to the other way, thinking that maybe we did get away from him. Maybe his class, maybe a Plus Tard is a little bit better.
So do you think then, like with A Plus Tard, obviously it was his first try over 3 miles. Do you think, did it feel like it was a proper race? Like, as in, did it feel like a proper stay and chase? Like, you were surprised that you were past, I'd say, were you?
Well, that was the way we went out to ride. We went out to ride Kemboy flat to the board, not flat to the boards, but go good gallop. It's one thing Ruby's always said to me about 3 mile chasers, and this lad he's won his Grade 1s over 3 mile and around Leopardstown. So you go out and you keep sending, you keep hooking, you keep going those big jumps, and if they're good enough, they're going to stay going. I thought I did stay going the last 50 yards. I wandered a small bit, but it was a proper race, and I thought a Plus Tard. I thought he'd done well to peg me back.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're leaning towards A Plus Tard, are you?
I'm worried. It's what he could do. Obviously Album Photo for me, but what a Plus Tard could do and improve with the trip. I'm a little bit worried about him, yeah.
Okay. Interesting thoughts there on A Plus Tard from David Mullins. Mikey Fogarty, Champ. What do you make of Champ?
Doesn't jump well enough, not straightforward enough for me. I'm not sure the 2 mile thing. Sure, wouldn't be ideal, but that wouldn't be my worry. It'd be the mind you need to win a Gold Cup. I don't think he has it, So if they sort of fell in a hole in the RSA, and he's a massive engine, but massive engines, you need a mind, you need good jumpers, you need a lot of things. I couldn't see him win it. No, not for me. Couldn't have him.
Okay, what could you have?
I agree. David Mullins took the words out of my mouth. I agree completely with everything he said.
Like Meatloaf.
Basically, I just feel your man is the danger. Yeah, he's unexposed. He'll come on experience-wise, toughness-wise from Leopardstown. Monaghan was an unlucky loser. Like, I used to think a little bit like David. Maybe Henry's horses were over better strike rate over a shorter distance, but he proved with a couple of, like, you know what I mean. He's still, he's just. I think the trainer's improved as well, and he's got a better type of horse, and he is the one I would be worried about if I was Paul Townend. Album Photo. The reason I feel he doesn't get the same credit is because it's very hard to compete with a Cato or a Denman or those massive, big, famous horses that had massive followings. Like, they won Tingle Creeks, Hennessy's, any of the Gold Cups Alboum Photo won, it was never over at the top of the hill like those great horses were, I found, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from Alboum Photo. I think he's a top quality performer, and he's every bit, if not better, this year in the yard anyway. But I would be the same as David. I'd be just a little bit worried about your man. I think he's a bit unexposed. But would I ride him? No, I wouldn't get off Alboum. No chance. He's just, you can bounce out anywhere on him, and he's straightforward, and he'll get you out of a hole, and he'll give you 169 or that, whatever he has, or 168, whatever he's got.
Okay, so interesting there. Obviously, Alboum Photo is the defending champion, and he has been there, he's done it, but the two lads think that A Plus Tard could be the young pretender and could end his bid to win 3 Gold Cups in a row. Dean Ryan, you know, with a Gold Cup like this, where you've got Alboum Photo, you've got Champ and A Plus Tard, there are good horses in this race at really big prices. Are you looking towards that end of the market, or do you think the front end of the market is where we should be looking?
I was really trying to, DJ. I really was, because the prices just seem short enough now at the top end, whichever one you like of those big three. So I don't
Did you try hard enough?
No, I don't think there's a huge amount of value in any of the top three now, though. Alboum Photo is just mechanical now, isn't he? He jumps low, but he jumps super. All those kind of errors that were there earlier, and I think David mentioned, you know, he might give you a fright in his early days. He doesn't have that anymore. Willie Mullins done a great job, and if he wins 3, well, hats off. That would just be magic. I agree. That's why he doesn't get the plaudits, is because you just don't see him often enough. He doesn't have to go to the well to do what he's done, which has been terrific. I wasn't actually blown away by A Plus Tard's Savills Chase win, but everybody else I speak to, including the lads on this panel now, tell me what a great race it was. But it just hasn't gone with me. I'm going to side with Champ. I'm super excited by Champ back over a trip. I'm glad they got a run into him, albeit at 2 miles, and so Royale put him away for speed at the end. But I thought he jumped super. Do you know, the Paddy Aspel's on our podcast quite a bit, and he talks about the landing gear with Champ just doesn't come down as quick as the horse sometimes. So maybe there's a stumble in him. We've all seen his jumping issues before, but the engine is amazing, and I think Champ could win this Gold Cup. I think this will be his year. And but 9-2, DJ, the price has, you know, shrunk beyond recognition. If he was to drift to 6-7-1, I'd make him a cracking bet.
Bad news for you, Dean. I fancy Champ as well.
Yeah,
I do fancy Champ.
I know you're a fan, all right. Yeah, why not? I mean, he's a cracking horse.
Yeah, I just like that run. Like that run at Newbury. I thought it was a really good run. Donn McClean, what do you like in the Welsh Child sponsored Gold Cup?
Yeah, look, I'm definitely afraid of Champ. I wasn't afraid of Champ at all before the game Spirit, but I just thought over 2 miles, his jumping in the game Spirit over 2 miles was so much better than it was in the RSA Chase last year. Like, I think, look, his finish in the RSA Chase, it was a bit gutting, and I know you were on the right side of it. I was on the wrong side of it.
You were on Manila Indo.
Manila Indo, yeah, which, you know, run the race again, Manila Indo might win it. But look, in fairness to Champ, it was some finish, some ride by Barry Geraghty as well to get him up. But the fact we hadn't seen him all year, you're kind of thinking, is he, you know, where is he, or where does Nicky Henderson have him? And just to come out and it was a really, I thought, you know, in hindsight now looking back, of course it was a master stroke to run him in a game Spirit. I thought, instead of running him in a 3 mile race, just to get his eye in and get him going forward and maybe sharpen him up, with a view to going back for the Gold Cup. And he stayed the RSA Chase trip last year. There's every chance he'll stay the Gold Cup trip. So look, he's a big player, but you have to love Alboum Photo. I agree with Dean. The reason he doesn't get or he doesn't have the fan base, or he isn't a fashionable horse, or as fashionable as he should be, is because we just don't see him. But that's, you know, would he have won 2 Gold Cups if he'd run in a Hennessy or in a whatever, King George, or, you know, probably not. We just don't know. And it worked the first year by default. He missed the Irish Gold Cup because of the ground. So he ended up going straight from Racehour to Cheltenham, and it worked then. So Willie Mullins did the same thing last year, and he's doing the same thing this year. And he's the one they all have to beat. He sets the standard. But now I'm a big A Plus Tard fan as well. He's like, he won the Close Brothers Chase over 2.5. He ran in the Ryanair Chase last year, and I don't know if it wasn't himself, but he kind of shaped like a horse who would do better over further, even though he beaten Jacqueline Brassard over 2 miles early in the season. So and then he got beaten in the Portrait chase at the start of this season. Again, over 2, he always gets beaten in his first run. But we didn't know how he would have. He ran over 3 miles once before. That was when Delta Work beat him in the Grow-Wise chase at Punchestown, but that was going right-handed. He's better going left, and it was also at the end of the season, so you can allow him that. And the way, as David was saying earlier, the way that he hit the line at Leopardstown, like he going to the final fence, you kind of thought he had to wing it to give himself a chance of catching Kenboy, and he didn't. He got in tight, and then got going again. But just the strength with which he went to the line under Darragh O'Keefe, and you know, it's an extra 2.5 furlongs at Cheltenham and it's a stiffer track, but there's every chance that he'll get it all right, even though he was a 2 or 2.5 miles. So, and you know, he's a 7-year-old, a progressive chaser like Saz and John, like Albin Photo a couple of years ago, Cotto Star, Best Mate. They were all 7 when they won the Gold Cup. So he's the right age, and he's the coming horse, isn't he? Like he's the one who's improving into the race. So yeah, look, he's the one that I'd want. I wouldn't rule out Manila Indo either, the other Henry de Bromhead horse. I just thought, you know, take his RSA chase run the last day. He fell in the Savills chase when the plan was to go directly from there to Cheltenham. Because he fell, they ran him in the Irish Gold Cup. And I just think maybe the objective in the Irish Gold Cup was to just give him a confidence booster and bring him forward for the Gold Cup. And we know how well he goes at Cheltenham. He won an Albert Bartlett hurdle there as well at 50-1 when he ran the choke out for 2 miles and 6 furlongs. So yeah, I just wouldn't rule him out either. I think he's a good ride and a great ride for Jack Kennedy to pick up now.
Okay, so Henry de Bromhead would be happy if he listens to this anyway, Job, because you think A Plus Tard and Manila Indo
Sorry, Henry.
Are the 2 plays in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And it's down to you, Diarmuid Nolan. You've got the final say in the Gold Cup.
A Plus Tard and I put up Manila Indo earlier on the season, and he's just really disappointed me this year. Like I loved this horse last year. I napped him on the preview night last year. He disappointed me. I'm on him anti-post. I couldn't cash it out, so I have the bet, but I wouldn't have much belief in him. I like A Plus Tard, but like myself and Don, I think it was, who put Albin Photo up the first year of this preview, and then last year I took him on, and this year I don't see anything to take him on. I don't like the fact that Champ has to go back up and trip again. I like A Plus Tard.
Why?
I just, his jumping seemed to improve dramatically for dropping back and trip, like dramatically.
But they're going to go lickety split in the Gold Cup, like
they're not going to go as quick as they did over 2 miles. Like I don't know.
I know. Ask the lads, right? Mikey, have you ridden in the Gold Cup?
No.
Right, David, you've ridden in the Gold Cup, right?
Yeah, and as I said there earlier, if you have a 3 mile Grade 1 horse, you go as hard as you can. You keep winging. Ruby told me that I made the run on Champagne West in the Gold Cup, and I said to him at the top of the hill, Native River was in front, and Dickie just kept going the whole way. And I said, there's no way he'll stay going. He's going to come back. He says, this is the Gold Cup. This is what Gold Cup horses do. And I followed Coney Gree around Punchestown, the next 3 mile Grade 1 in Punchestown. And I mean, I have never gone as hard in my life.
Deadly.
I'm telling you that there's over the years, that first circuit in the Gold Cup. That first circuit, like I remember, like even 1 year I was given like Bell's Hill a chance in the Gold Cup. He'd won the Irish Gold Cup, and yes, he kind of ran on fast ground at Leopardstown, and maybe that. But like Bell's Hill was beaten after 6 fences because they were going so fast. Now he was jumping terrible, but I don't know, Diarmuid. I think that first circuit in the Gold Cup, you need pace to hold your position. I think anyway.
If they bowled them on like they did like that day from the front, I'd love them for it. But I don't think they are. Really, are they? Like they're going to let whoever make the running. I don't like them anyway for it. I'm just not convinced at all. But look, Albin Photo for me. I've gone through this race over and over again, and I cannot find any other angle than A Plus Tard Albin Photo sets a standard of 168 or 169, as Mikey says, and he'll run to that every time. And I don't think the rest of them, we can't be sure that they're going to reach that level, and we know that Albin Photo will. So I think Albin Photo takes the absolute world stuff.
I think this year it's a bit different. I know, like we knocked this horse, but he's whether he wins or loses, what a horse! Like what a horse Albin Photo to do, and like his career is full of like fascinating stuff, like the race at Punchestown, and even unfortunately he gave Ruby the fall, and then he wins 2 Gold Cups, and Paul is riding him even though he rode him when he ran out at Punchestown. It's just a brilliant story. But this year, like 2 years ago, he beat Annabelle Fly in the Gold Cup. Last year, the first 4 home were Santini, Monolly, and what was third? Lost in Translation. I don't know. I just think A Plus Tard and Champ are different. They're different. They're the up-and-coming horse, the pace. They look like the stay. I think Album Photo this year faces a completely different test. He's not just facing them sloggers. He's facing pace, promise, and stamina. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat the two of them. Now, I'm not saying Champ is a certainty. I think just about favourite Champ over A Plus Tard. I think one of them will beat him. I really do. Anyway, so to sum up in 1, 2, or 3 words, because A Plus Tard is 3 words, we're going to run through the panel and who you think will win the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Mikey Fogarty.
Album Photo.
Diarmuid Nolan.
Album Photo.
David Mullins.
Album Photo.
Dean Ryan.
Champ.
And Donn McClean.
A Plus Tard.
And Champ for me.